Good evening, my wonderful students, and welcome to another episode with me, the Pillow Professor. I'm so delighted you're here, ready to embark on a new adventure through time. Tonight, we're diving into a realm of ancient giants, bizarre creatures, and astonishing wonders, the captivating world of prehistoric animals. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future journeys through history, science, and beyond. And while you're here, I'd love to know, where in the world are you listening to this episode from? Drop it in the comments below and let's see how far our little classroom stretches. Alright students, get comfy, pull up your blankets, and let's slip back through millions of years to explore creatures stranger and grander than any myth. Our journey begins over 540 million years ago, during one of the most crucial chapters in the story of life on Earth, the Cambrian explosion. Imagine Earth as a world utterly alien from today. The continents were bare rock, the skies were empty of birds or insects, and all life clung to the oceans. During this astonishing burst of evolution, a dazzling variety of creatures suddenly appeared in the seas. Some were small and delicate, others wore armor like knights. Trilobites scuttled across the seafloor, their segmented bodies and faceted eyes giving them a look almost mechanical. Sponges filtered water quietly, while worm-like creatures burrowed in the sediment. One of the most fascinating stars of the Cambrian was Anomalocaris, a predator as long as your arm, with a circular, toothy mouth and stalked eyes swiveling above its segmented body. Picture a creature, part shrimp, part alien spacecraft, swooping through the water in search of prey. Scientists still puzzle over why so many new body plans emerged during this time. Perhaps changing ocean chemistry provided new minerals for shells and exoskeletons, or maybe genetic innovations unlocked creative possibilities. Whatever the cause, the Cambrian explosion set the stage for all animal life that followed. Fast forward to around 400 million years ago, and the seas were teeming with armored fish. This was the Devonian period, often called the Age of Fishes. Rivers and shallow seas swarmed with creatures, and plants were finally gaining a foothold on land, transforming barren rock into green landscapes. Among the most fearsome of Devonian creatures was Dunkleosteus, a fish as long as a school bus and weighing several tons. It had a bony armoured head and jaws that could snap shut with tremendous force, enough to bite through steel if it had existed then. Instead of teeth, it had sharp, bony plates that scissored together like shears, slicing prey with surgical precision. Imagine swimming in those ancient seas where giant fish with bone-plated heads lurked behind coral reefs. The Devonian oceans were like an underwater battlefield, with predators and prey locked in an escalating arms race of armor and weaponry. Now we step onto land, into the humid, dense forests of the Carboniferous period, about 350 million years ago. Towering trees rose higher than houses, and the air was thick with oxygen. The increased oxygen levels allowed insects and arthropods to grow to incredible sizes. Picture dragonflies with wingspans wider than a seagull's, soaring above swamps. One species, Meganeura, had wings stretching over 2.5 feet across, its enormous eyes scanning for prey below. Centipedes as long as cars, like Arthropods, crawled through leaf litter, their countless legs rustling over damp soil. Among the undergrowth, early amphibians lurked. These creatures, half fish and half frog, paddled through shallow pools or slithered across mossy logs. It was a world alive with rustling wings, the hiss of insects, and the splash of creatures testing the boundaries of life on land. the Carboniferous forests eventually faded and were replaced by new worlds. Let's leap forward to the Triassic period, roughly 250 million years ago. Earth was recovering from the worst mass extinction in its history, and life was experimenting with new forms. It was during the Triassic that dinosaurs made their first appearance, but early dinosaurs were not the colossal creatures we often imagine. They were modest in size, quick on their feet, and had to share their world with other formidable reptiles. Take Coelophysis, a slender dinosaur standing about as tall as your hip with sharp teeth and keen eyes. It hunted in packs, darting after prey through the ferns and dry riverbeds of Pangaea. Meanwhile, other reptiles were testing new ideas. Marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs, resembling dolphins with long snouts, took to the oceans. In the skies, pterosaurs began to glide, heralding a future where reptiles would rule the air. The Jurassic period, around 190 million years ago, marked a time when dinosaurs truly began to dominate the planet. Vast forests of conifers spread across the continents, and enormous herbivores roamed in herds. One of the grandest sights would have been Brachiosaurus, a dinosaur as tall as a 4-story building. Its front legs were longer than its back legs, giving it a sloped back and the ability to reach leaves high in the trees. A single step from such a creature could shake the ground like distant thunder. But the Jurassic was not just about giants. It was a time of remarkable innovation, especially among smaller dinosaurs. Many scientists now believe that feathers first evolved during this period. Not all feathered dinosaurs could fly. Some used feathers for display, warmth, or protecting eggs. Imagine small dinosaurs with colourful plumes, strutting like prehistoric peacocks, trying to impress mates or scare off rivals. This age also belonged to pterosaurs like the pteranodon, who glided above cliffs and coastlines with wingspans exceeding 20 feet. Their long, graceful wings carried them over vast distances in search of fish. Our next stop is the Cretaceous period, from around 145 million to 66 million years ago. This was a time of dazzling diversity, both in dinosaurs and other creatures. Flowering plants appeared, transforming the landscape into colourful meadows and forests. Among the most iconic creatures was Tyrannosaurus rex, towering nearly 20 feet tall and stretching over 40 feet in length. Despite its reputation as a ruthless predator, scientists debate whether it was a hunter, a scavenger, or both. It possessed an astonishing sense of smell, possibly the best of any creature that has ever lived. Imagine its powerful jaws crashing down with a force that could crush bone like dry twigs. Meanwhile, the seas were patrolled by mosasaurs, marine reptiles as long as a city bus, with sleek bodies built for fast pursuit. Above the waves, birds were emerging, evolving from small feathered dinosaurs into creatures capable of true flight. The Cretaceous period came to a dramatic close with the asteroid impact that ended the reign of the non-avian dinosaurs. The skies darkened, ecosystems collapsed, and the age of reptiles gave way to the rise of mammals. In the aftermath of the dinosaurs' extinction, mammals began to flourish. Tiny, shrew-like creatures evolved into astonishing new forms, filling niches left vacant by the vanished reptiles. Over millions of years, mammals grew larger, bolder, and more diverse. The Ice Age, beginning roughly 2.5 million years ago, brought spectacular megafauna. Mammoths with curved tusks as long as a man is tall roamed icy steppes. Their thick coats shielded them from bitter winds as they foraged for grasses beneath snow. Saber-toothed cats prowled in packs, ambushing giant ground sloths that lumbered through forests. Glyptodons, enormous armoured mammals the size of small cars, grazed plains with their protective shells shining under the sun. Humans eventually shared the world with these creatures, painting mammoths on cave walls and crafting tools to hunt them. The bond between early humans and these animals shaped legends that echo into our myths today. Though we've already met the giant insects of the Carboniferous, their story didn't end there. Even into the Permian period, arthropods continued to grow into startling forms. Picture scorpions longer than your forearm, scuttling across sandy dunes. In the oceans, Eurypterids, sometimes called sea scorpions, were apex predators. Some species reached lengths of over 8 feet, armed with sharp pincers and paddles for swimming. Imagine wading into shallow waters, only to glimpse the armoured form of a creature that seemed half scorpion, half submarine. As oxygen levels shifted and climates changed, the giants of the insect world eventually shrank, leaving behind only fossils as evidence of their once dominant reign. The Permian period, roughly 299 to 252 million years ago, was a time of curious creatures that were neither fully reptile nor quite mammal. These were synapsids, our distant ancestors, who ruled the land long before dinosaurs rose to prominence. Among them was Dimetrodon, often mistaken for a dinosaur, with a sail on its back formed by elongated vertebrae. This sail may have helped regulate its body temperature, warming it quickly under the Permian sun, or cooling it in the shade. Other synapsids, like gorgonopsids, stalked prey with saber-like teeth. They were fast, fierce hunters, and in many ways they were Earth's first true land predators. The Permian period ended in disaster, with volcanic eruptions triggering Earth's greatest mass extinction, wiping out over 90% of species. Yet, the synapsids left a legacy that would eventually blossom into mammals. We've touched on the feathered dinosaurs of the Jurassic, but their story soars even higher in the Cretaceous, as some feathered creatures became the first true birds. One of the most famous transitional fossils is Archaeopteryx, discovered in German limestone. This ancient bird had feathers for flight but retained dinosaur traits like teeth and a bony tail. Imagine a bird with sharp claws on its wings fluttering through tropical forests. Later birds experimented with different lifestyles. Some, like Hesperornis, took to the seas, using small wings more like flippers while propelling themselves underwater. Others developed beaks specialized for cracking seeds or catching fish. Birds are living dinosaurs carrying echoes of their mighty ancestors into the skies above us every day. While dinosaurs ruled the land, the oceans teemed with formidable reptiles that were just as impressive. Plesiosaurs glided through the water with 4 flippers, their long necks allowing them to dart their heads after prey. Some species had necks longer than 15 feet. Meanwhile, pliosaurs, relatives of plesiosaurs, were built for power. Their jaws, studded with huge teeth, could crush large prey. Kronosaurus was one such monster, stretching over 30 feet long and built like an underwater torpedo. Ichthyosaurs, resembling dolphins but with enormous eyes, sped through the oceans. Fossils reveal mothers who died giving birth, showing that these creatures gave live birth rather than laying eggs, much like whales today. Imagine the Mesozoic seas as alien worlds, where giant reptiles hunted, chased, and survived in endless watery battles. Sharks are older than dinosaurs, stretching back over 400 million years. Some prehistoric sharks were truly staggering in size. Take Megalodon, although it lived after the dinosaurs roughly 23 to 3 million years ago. This giant shark could reach lengths over 60 feet. Its jaws could easily swallow a grown person whole, and its teeth were as large as a human hand. Even earlier, during the Devonian period, Cladocelache patrolled the seas. Unlike modern sharks, it lacked scales and had a streamlined, torpedo-like body, perfect for sudden bursts of speed. Ancient fish came in bizarre shapes, with some sporting armour, others developing elongated snouts or protruding fins. Each adaptation was a strategy in the endless contest of predator and prey beneath ancient waves. Crocodiles are living fossils, survivors from an era of far stranger relatives. During the Jurassic and Cretaceous, crocodiliforms evolved into many extraordinary shapes and sizes. Some ancient crocodiles, like Sarcosuchus, grew over 35 feet long and weighed as much as 10 tons. They prowled riverbanks, waiting to ambush dinosaurs who ventured too close. Imagine a predator as long as a city bus lurking under the water's surface. Other crocodiliforms adapted to entirely different lifestyles. Some were slender, fish-eating hunters with long, narrow jaws. Others took to land, galloping after prey on powerful legs. Crocodiles' remarkable adaptability helped them survive the extinction that ended the age of dinosaurs, ensuring their place in the modern world. Before reptiles fully took over the land, amphibians ruled the swamps and rivers. The Permian and Carboniferous periods were home to amphibians larger than anything alive today. Take Eriops, a robust creature resembling a giant salamander, nearly 6 feet long. It prowled murky waters, hunting fish and small animals. Its broad skull and powerful limbs suggest it could move both in water and on land, lurking at the water's edge like a modern crocodile. Another giant, Prehistoric, from the Permian of Brazil, stretched over 25 feet long. This amphibian had a slender, elongated snout, perfect for snapping up fish in slow-moving rivers. Prehistoric amphibians reveal an era when the boundaries between land and water were still blurred, and the world was an amphibian's playground. After the dinosaurs vanished, some birds were able to grow to astounding sizes. On the plains of South America stalked Forus racids, often called terror birds. These predators stood over 10 feet tall, with huge hooked beaks perfect for striking down prey. In Madagascar, the elephant bird Epiornis grew to over 10 feet tall and laid eggs bigger than a human head. Its eggs were so massive that a single one could feed several families for a meal. In Australia, Genyornis thundered across grasslands, a giant goose-like bird weighing over 500 pounds. These giant birds were formidable predators or grazers, shaping ecosystems until many disappeared under the pressures of climate change and human activity. Australia's prehistoric past boasts a unique cast of characters. During the Pleistocene period, giant marsupials dominated its landscapes. Diprotodon, the largest marsupial ever, looked like a massive wombat and weighed over 3 tons. Picture a creature the size of a rhinoceros ambling across eucalyptus forests. Thylacoleo, the so-called marsupial lion, had powerful jaws and sharp teeth, making it one of Australia's top predators. Though it was no larger than a leopard, it could deliver a bite more powerful than many big cats today. These animals thrived in ecosystems isolated from the rest of the world, creating a prehistoric Australia unlike anywhere else on Earth. Turtles are ancient creatures with ancestors stretching back over 200 million years. But in prehistory, some turtles reached sizes that would boggle the mind today. Consider Archelon, a marine turtle from the Cretaceous seas. Its shell alone spanned over 13 feet across, wider than most cars. Picture a gentle giant gliding through warm oceans, its flippers propelling it like wings as it searched for jellyfish and soft-bodied prey. On land, giant tortoises once roamed islands across the world. In South America, Stupendomes, a freshwater turtle, grew to nearly 10 feet in length. Its massive shell could have served as protection against predators like giant crocodiles. Turtles have survived countless changes in climate and continents, proving that sometimes the best armor in nature is simply to carry your house on your back. Long before squids and octopuses haunted the oceans, ancient cephalopods ruled the seas with strange and beautiful shells. During the Paleozoic era, the oceans were filled with nautiloids, creatures with spiral or straight shells. Some, like Arthropods, grew shells over 20 feet long, making them among the largest predators of their time. By the Mesozoic era, ammonites flourished. These relatives of modern squids and cuttlefish boasted intricately coiled shells, each unique in its whorls and ridges. Some were tiny, barely the size of a fingernail, while others grew over 6 feet across. Picture great underwater landscapes where swirling schools of ammonites drifted like living jewelry, their tentacles probing the water for prey. Though wiped out with the dinosaurs, their fossils remain as delicate spirals in ancient stone, reminding us of oceans teeming with life and mystery. Not all prehistoric animals were giants. Some were tiny creatures whose quiet success shaped the future of ecosystems. During the Paleogene period, following the dinosaurs' extinction, rodents began to diversify across continents. Josephoartigasia, a prehistoric rodent from South America, grew as large as a buffalo, weighing over a ton. It resembled a monstrous capybara, grazing near rivers and marshes. Meanwhile, other small mammals, like multituberculates, thrived for over 100 million years, scurrying through trees and undergrowth. These mammals, with specialized teeth for gnawing seeds and plants, were the ancient equivalents of modern squirrels and mice. Though less dramatic than dinosaurs, these small mammals quietly inherited the Earth, laying the foundation for ecosystems we know today. Earlier we met giant pterosaurs like Pteranodon, but the skies of prehistory were home to a staggering variety of these flying reptiles. Some pterosaurs, like Nemicalopterus, were no larger than sparrows, darting between trees hunting insects. Others, like Tapejara, sported elaborate head crests shaped like sails or fans, possibly used for attracting mates or communicating with rivals. One of the most mind-boggling giants was Quetzalcoatlus, whose wings stretched over 36 feet. Yet even such giants could take off and fly, using powerful limbs to launch themselves skyward like giant birds. The diversity of pterosaurs paints a vivid picture of prehistoric skies buzzing with life, from delicate gliders to colossal giants riding the wind. Let's now explore creatures closer to us than any dinosaur, prehistoric primates, who reveal the winding path toward humanity. In the tropical forests of Africa, Proconsul, an early ape, swung through branches around 20 million years ago. Its body was built for climbing, with no tail and flexible limbs. Later, creatures like Australopithecus roamed grassy plains, walking upright while still retaining the ability to climb trees. Lucy, the famous Australopithecus afarensis, lived over 3 million years ago. She stood barely over 3 feet tall, yet her upright gait signaled a new chapter in evolution. These early primates connect us directly to Earth's deep past, reminding us that we, too, are part of the ancient story of life. Our final chapter tonight drifts into the oceans of more recent prehistoric times, where gentle giants known as sea cows flourished. Millions of years ago, creatures like Stella's sea cow roamed the cold waters near the Bering Sea. These enormous relatives of modern manatees and dugongs reached lengths of over 30 feet and weighed as much as 10 tons. Slow-moving and gentle, they grazed on kelp forests like underwater cows. In other parts of the world, Basilosaurus ruled warm seas. Despite its name meaning king lizard, it was actually a primitive whale over 60 feet long. Basilosaurus had long, serpentine bodies and tiny vestigial limbs, a glimpse into whales' transition from land animals back to the water. These marine mammals show how the oceans have been reshaped time and again by evolving giants, each adapted to their watery world in surprising ways. And so, my dear students, we close our journey through the endless corridors of time, having walked alongside giants, marveled at creatures stranger than dreams, and traced the winding path that life has carved upon this earth. From the ancient seas where trilobites scurried, to the towering forests where dragonflies bigger than birds soared, to the plains thundered upon by titanic dinosaurs, and finally to the icy fields where mammoths roamed beneath starlit skies, each chapter of life has left us with stories written in stone and bone. These creatures, some fierce and mighty, others delicate and fleeting, remind us how wondrous and fragile our world truly is. They are echoes from a distant past, whispering secrets of survival, change, and rebirth across the ages. May the tales of these prehistoric animals continue to spark your curiosity and fill your imaginations with the magic of ancient worlds. Until our next adventure together, rest well, my students, and dream of the marvels that once were.